Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to talk to you a little bit about Immunicom. So at Immunicom, we take a little bit of a different approach on how we address chronic and terminal diseases, such as oncology, autoimmune disease, inflammatory diseases, basically terminal type of disease conditions. What we've done is we've really created an opportunity to really transform how we enable the immune system to fight these types of diseases. When we look at the landscape, we know a lot of the factors that actually cause and contribute to these diseases. Many of these factors are soluble factors, whether they be growth proteins, cytokines, galectins, things of that nature. And we very successfully, as an industry, have designed products, drugs, and chemicals that address these diseases with patients. But particularly in diseases like cancer and some of the inflammatory conditions that as patients progress towards later stages, what winds up happening is that these therapeutic approaches, these drug approaches are not as effective. They are more toxic, cause more complications with the patients, and in many cases, the treatment winds up being actually more detrimental to the patient than the disease itself. So what we think about is, okay, what if there was a different approach? What if there's a way to actually neutralize these types of factors in a way that doesn't cause these complications and actually still produces a meaningful clinical response? And that's essentially what we've done at Immunicom. We've created a game-changing immunotherapy platform. What we do is we actually create customized molecules that would target, let's say, a specific protein or a cytokine. But instead of formulating it into a pharmaceutical product, we actually stabilize this in this little liquid filter. This is proprietary to Immunicom. This filter fits into any existing plasmapheresis machine, which are available in every hospital around the world. And at that point, the patient gets a treatment very similar to dialysis, where they get their blood and plasma filtered. And then we pull out, at a very targeted level, just the targeted factor that we're going after. This approach, being outside of the body, we don't add anything back into the patient's body, by the way. So we call this a subtractive approach, and we can pretty much go after any target for any disease. It's just a matter of designing the molecule for it. Now, when you take this type of approach, what winds up happening is you actually get a very safe type therapeutic treatment. We've got, in oncology, multiple trials underway right now. We have a triple-negative breast cancer trial in Europe. We have a melanoma trial in Israel. And we have a lung cancer trial in Turkey, and we're about to start a hormone refractory breast cancer trial with the Baylor College of Medicine in Houston. When you look at our responses, we've done over 700 individual treatments so far on advanced refractory patients, and that's critical. What you have to understand is every patient that is brought into our trial that we treat is a refractory patient. They have failed all existing therapies. Nothing works on these patients. And at that point, they're basically sent into our study. Even with that type of a barrier, we're seeing some very impressive responses. We're seeing impressive stable disease, partial responses, complete responses in these end-stage refractory patients. But just as important is, we're not seeing toxic side effects. We're not seeing severe type of implications on these patients. It's the other way around. We're actually seeing a significant improvement in their quality of life. I'll give you an example. Our first triple-negative breast cancer trial patient in Europe, she had failed 6 other lines of therapies. She was not eating anymore. She was not sleeping. She couldn't walk more than 30 meters without being in pain. After 2 weeks of being on our treatment, she told the doctors, hey, I'm not feeling pain. I'm sleeping through the night. I feel better. By the 3rd week, she was gardening. By the 4th week, she told them, hey, guess what? My husband didn't have to drive me to the clinic today. I actually took the train and walked half a kilometer. This is the kind of response we're seeing. On top of the tumor response and the progression of life, we're seeing a high quality of life. Our stage 4 lung cancer patients are coming into the clinic saying, I feel great. This is an advanced refractory stage 4 lung cancer patient coming in saying, I feel great. And a lot of them, they're also exhibiting a stable disease. When you look at where we are today, we have received FDA breakthrough designation for all stage 4 cancers, which is unique in and of itself. We have our initial approval in Europe for triple-negative breast cancer, and we're going to leverage that and actually commercialize by the end of this year in Europe, Israel, and Turkey using that approval. With the FDA, we expect to file for some approvals with unmet need category by next year. and other subsequent approvals downstream. This product that we have initially, this is applicable to many different solid tumor cancers, so it's not just a single type of a treatment. I talked about this being a platform. So when you look at what we have, not only this initial product, which, as I said, works across many different solid tumor cancers, our second product is already now starting preclinical studies in about 4 weeks. It's targeting a different cytokine. And we expect that to be in human clinical by the end of this year in a few advanced different types of cancer indications. And then we've got a library of products all built around the same platform, the same chemistry. All we do is we go after our target, change the molecule, and you've got pretty much the same approach. When you look at the company itself and the management team, we've got extensive experience building companies, selling companies, running major operations in companies, Fortune 50, Fortune 20 healthcare technology companies on a global basis. I grew up in Texas, and as they say in Texas, this ain't our first rodeo. We've done this a few times, so you'll see a very, very seasoned management team that knows how to build a business like this. To date, we've raised $32 million in funding through various rounds. We also have about $6 million in non-dilutive funding through various strategic partners that are funding our clinical trials. And then we're currently raising a $23 million bridge round, of which $8 million we've already raised from our existing investors, which is a good sign. They're doubling, tripling down the company. And we're looking for the balance of the $15 million. The bridge will convert into a Series C crossover round that we expect by Q1 of 2022, right around the time where we are going to be commercializing in Europe and Israel and Turkey and some of those places. At this point, our business model is we manufacture ourselves. We have our ISO 13485 manufacturing facility. We also then our plan is to license to pharmaceutical companies for various indications and a traditional license royalty model that you would see in particularly in therapeutic oncology. So if this is something that would be of interest to you, I would greatly appreciate the opportunity to talk to you later today. And thank you again for giving me this chance.